accidents in the car, around the house, also at work can lead to big legal and financial messes. So how do you wade through all of the legal web? Well, you turn to some of Chicago's finest legal eagles. Joining us to help us sort it all out is award-winning lawyer Louis Cairo, senior partner at Goldberg, Weissman & Cairo. How are you this morning?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Looking good as always.
Nice
Look,
to see you
I
again.
got the attorney shake. I'm awesome. So we got some questions for you today.
Right.
Y'all ready?
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the first one.
If I'm in an accident and I'm held responsible, but I have insurance, can I still lose everything? And how much insurance do I need to really protect myself?
That's actually a good question. You're always scared, especially if it's your fault in the accident. I mean, accidents happen. People make mistakes.
Well, they're actually great questions, and really the answer to the question is how much money do you have to lose is really a good answer to the question, because the insurance policy that you get, if you get a $20,000 policy, will only protect you for $20,000.
And they can sue you for more money?
They can sue you for pain and suffering, disability, disfigurement, loss of your earnings, medical expenses, and a typical case where somebody goes to the emergency room and they have a CAT scan, they have x-rays, they'll get a bill for $3,000 or $4,000. They have follow-up treatment. Those cases can easily be worth tens and $50,000 and in excess of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And somebody who has a serious injury, particularly a high wage earner or somebody who has serious injuries, those cases are in the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars.
Ooh.
So your insurance, to have insurance means you may have met your financial responsibility under the financial responsibility law. But how much insurance do you need to protect yourself, which is really what the gentleman's second question was. The more you have, the more you need. I can give you a really quick example. I had a friend who was in college, had a motorcycle accident. It was his fault, hurt somebody really, really bad. He only had a $100,000 policy. About 3 years later, the case was pending. He invented something in a dot-com industry worth millions of dollars.
Oh, wow.
And he has this lawsuit pending with $100,000 of insurance. Now,
So
suddenly, that $100,000 policy, the guy's medical bills were like $250,000.
So he ended up having to pay everything.
He had to write the check.
Wow.
So usually people that have high assets have high insurance to protect themselves.
Got it. Makes sense, because if you have higher income, you should be able to afford higher premiums.
Exactly.
So there you
and,
go.
And you have more to lose. That's
There you
the bottom
go.
line.
Now let's get to our next question. This one is about timing. So let's take a watch.
Is there a time limit to bring a case for personal injury?
Oh. Is there a statute of limitations?
Every single case, well, you know the answer to the question, because
Okay.
you figured out statute of limitation is the law.
I just know the right word.
It was perfect. Every case, no matter what it is, whether it's a slip and fall, medical malpractice, car accident, dram shop, whatever it can be, there's a time limit. And I'll tell you that the best thing I can tell you is consult with a lawyer, somebody who really knows what they're talking about, a personal injury specialist, because there's different statute of limitations for all different types of cases.
Okay.
But for personal injury, there's a general rule, and that is 2 years from the date of the accident. You have to file a lawsuit, and if you don't, even if your accident happened on national television and on videotape, it's done. You have to do it within 2 years. However, if you're the city of Chicago, or you're a municipality, or you're the CTA, or you're the RTA, or you're Metra, or you're a tavern owner or a restaurant that serves somebody who's intoxicated and then injures someone on the road, 1 year statute of limitation. So when I say generally it's a 2 year statute of limitation,
There
think
are
about
some exceptions.
yeah, exactly. If it happens to be a city worker that strikes you, or a police officer that strikes you, or you go into a large pothole because there's a sinkhole and you want to bring a claim against the city, or you're on the CTA bus, that's only 1 year. And a lot of people fall into that trap because they just don't realize it.
Right.
So the best thing I can tell you is consult with a specialist, somebody who specializes in personal injury work, as soon as you get in an accident, so you know how much time that you do have.
Right.
And there are some cases, Gene, where it's actually extended. For minors, the statute typically doesn't run until their 18th birthday, because they're not the age of majority yet.
Exactly.
And there's some other situations in medical malpractice it can be extended, in construction cases. What's the moral of the story? See a good lawyer.
There you go. And here's one right here. Let's take a look at number 3. And this one is asking about, let's see, injuries. Here we go.
I was just wondering, when should someone seek treatment following an accident?
You know what, this is a good one, because sometimes your injuries aren't really apparent right away, right?
Absolutely, and it is really a great question. And there's two reasons you should see a doctor or a specialist in a hospital right away. First of all, for your health and well-being. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times, and hundreds of cases that we've seen where somebody has an accident and they have a twinge or a little strain, and I think my shoulders, it's not feeling right, or my neck's a little sore, and I don't think it's going to be anything. I'll take some Tylenol. I'm going to work. I'll be fine. And then 4 or 5 days later, they're in the emergency room and they have a diagnosis with a herniated disc or nerve damage or some type of an injury that may necessitate surgeries. So the point is, for your own health and well-being, see a specialist right away. Don't go to your podiatrist because you're having a problem with your neck any more than you would go to a podiatrist for a cardiological problem.
Right.
See a specialist and get the best care that you can. That's good for your health and well-being. And as far as your case is concerned, it's really, really important because unfortunately, with the types of things that we hear, the media propaganda demonizes personal injury lawyers like me and claimants. And they're always viewed upon as, oh, they're overly litigious, they're just looking to get quick money. And when you have that gap where you have an accident,
then it
and
looks
then you
like
wait
you were
3
trying
weeks, it's like, well, what happened? Maybe you got hurt over those 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Or maybe it really didn't happen. And somebody said, oh, go see a lawyer, you'll get rich. I mean,
and whereas if you go right away, it makes you look legit, and that you're
Right.
not trying to get over on somebody.
Absolutely. And, and obviously, if it is a legitimate injury, you should seek medical treatment. You should consult with a lawyer, find out what your rights are. And if it's a small case, maybe you don't want to pursue it. But if it turns out to be something that could affect your livelihood or it becomes very expensive, and maybe the other driver does have good insurance as opposed to, like we were talking about with the other gentleman's question, he doesn't have insurance. There's a lot of different avenues for compensation there.
Now, Louis, last time we talked about your silver foxiness. You knew it was going to come. I mean, he was on a hot guy website. I mean, he has a nice car and everything. But apparently, that's not the only thing that's taken you to the top. We took a look at this video that we found. Oh, look at that. Hey, oh, wow. That's Louis dancing there on Dance Fever. Was Denny Ontario cool? This is one of my favorite shows.
He actually was a really great guy. He was very, very nice.
Do you still have moves like Jagger?
Yeah, as long as my beautiful sister's on the dance floor with me.
That's your sister. How cool is that? That is so awesome. So where did you guys come in the competition here?
We won the first show on Dance Fever, and then this was actually the semifinal, which we did not prevail. The couple that beat us ended up winning the whole show. But this is actually 3 months after my sister and I started dancing. I'd never been on a dance floor in my life.
Well, you killed it, Lou. Well, rock on.
Well, it's, you know, when you dance with a beautiful sister like that, who's now a doctor of psychology, and she's trying to tell me all the things I did wrong 30 years ago when we were dancing. I'm like, give it a rest. And
But you know what, though? You're a lawyer, and you know how to argue against it.
Yeah.
If you have a question for the dancing lawyer, Louis Cairo, about personal injury or workman's compensation, you can call him at 312-464-1234 or email him at lcairo@gwclaw.com. All the information will be on our website. Thank you for being such a good sport. I really appreciate it. That was some moves, though, I got to tell you.
I got better tapes than that.